We definitely had a vision. We weren't quite sure exactly what that vision was going to sound like at the end, but we knew that we wanted to make an album that was less focused on making songs that were easily consumed. I hate that word, but it's the best way I can think of. And played on radio, you know what I mean? Those are things that we've always been very conscious of, you know, when we're writing songs. And this album, we were like, we wanted an album that felt like it was being delivered to you as a whole, from the beginning to the end. That was something that needed to be, that was greater than the sum of its parts. It wasn't just a group of songs kind of thrown together because these were the songs that were the best ones. In that sense, there was a very clear concept going from the beginning. Like, let's make something that doesn't feel like it falls into an obvious Linkin Park record. From the beginning, we knew we wanted to have an album that ebbed and flowed really well. We wanted the songs to be able to go in and out of each other. What we found as we were writing the songs, especially when we started writing lyrics, was that there seemed to be a thread that kept coming in and out of the songs. Where there was fear, in the next song there was a little bit of remorse, and yet there was also the idea of being able to come to terms with that. And if we placed all these things in the right order, that was the big key at the end, was I think we've captured a story that wasn't really intended to be told. It just kind of worked out that way at the end, which was kind of a happy accident. That song came to me literally almost entirely all at one time. The second I heard the chord progression, the melody came, and then the words came, and it literally came like a flood, which is very rare, for me at least. Like, usually songs come in pieces, and this song just came at me right away. And a line that came to me in the very beginning, which isn't in the song, was, "You were a child with so many choices, the hardest always make us cry." And right away I was like, this is a letter to I'm going to write a letter to my kids, basically. You know, kind of telling them that, you know, they're getting ready to go out in the world, and you're going to get kicked around, and it's going to be tough, and you're going to find yourself in some painful situations. Here's what's important, is that you're always going to be loved by your family, and that will always get you through. Love keeps us. I would say that there maybe a chance for that stuff. I don't know. It was such a random thing for me to make that record in the first place, and especially with the direction that LP has gone in, I no longer feel like if I go home and write like a, you know, piano ballad, that's going to be off the table, you know, because it's not this kind of heavy rap rock thing, you know. So I think it'll become more and more difficult for me to choose which songs would not fit into the realm of Linkin Park, which may make it more difficult to make another DBS record. And you always will be. This melody will bring you. Well, I mean, honestly, the first Saw film was the greatest horror film of all time, if you ask me. Anyone who disagrees with me is wrong. So automatically, it was like right from the very first movie, I just literally jumped right in. Anytime a new film came out, I was right there. The opening day of every one of the Saw films. So one of my band members' neighbor is Mark Berg, who produces the films, and I got brought up as being a huge fan of the Saw films, and he asked if I would want to be in the movie, and of course I said yes, because that's like the coolest thing ever, you know? So I jumped on the chance and just hoped that I wouldn't make an ass out of myself. It was a little more difficult than I expected because my character isn't like a thread that comes in and out of the film. I can't really give too much away, but it took a lot for me to figure out how to portray this guy and what exactly his motives were going to be throughout the scene. You know, it really came down to the fact that you know, I'm in a sticky situation in this scene, and I don't have much time, so I got to figure some shit out real quick, and it really just came down to me screaming in a lot of blood. There's similarities and there's differences. Unlike when you're acting, there's a character that's basically been already written out. You just kind of have to find the nuances of the personality, and that takes a little bit of creativity. But in terms of writing a record, it's totally different because there is no premeditated idea. You know, I don't sit down and go, you know, I want to write a song about an elf, and then sit down and write a song about an elf. I just don't do it that way. I kind of just let things flow, and I really stopped chasing down ideas a long time ago. So it's a very organic, open-ended experience, whereas in acting, it's a very detailed, described situation that's already been thought out before you even get the script. Now it's just a matter of decoding the actual personality of the character.
Game over.